Hi everyone! Today I'm giving you a brief review of Vivobarefoot's Waterloo boots. It's their rain boot. And there are so many things that I am liking about these boots. The number one thing is that the sole is completely flat. There is no sneaky heel raise underneath that you have to watch out for. My heel is flat. So that is a great thing for those of us who really work hard to make sure that we're not buying shoes with a raised heel. The other thing I really like about these boots is there's no arch support in them. And you may be wondering, if you're new to minimal shoes, why would I want a boot without arch support? Don't we want footwear that has good arch support? Well, what I'm seeking out with my footwear is footwear that interferes with the function of my feet as little as possible, and allows the muscles of my feet to do their job and allows my foot to move as freely as possible. Now, obviously, a shoe, no matter how minimal, is going to interfere to some extent or another. However, as little as possible is best. The other thing I really like about this shoe is it's got a nice wide toe box. So this front area of the shoe where my toes are, I have plenty of room for my toes to be spread out. It comfortably accommodates my wearing of the correct toe spacer, if you're familiar with that, and I have plenty of room for that. My feet aren't particularly wide. I would say they're medium. My heel is a little more narrow, however, and there's a little bit of slipping that I've noticed when I'm wearing these. It's not a deal breaker for me, however, just something to be aware of. I also really like that the sole is nice and flexible and isn't stiff, and something that I have to work really hard to overcome. Two things that I would get really nitty-picky about are, number one, the toe portion of the sole has just a slight raise to it, or toe spring. It's not enough, again, to be a deal breaker for me, but just something to be aware of. And it's certainly a lot less than the majority of shoes that are out there, where you'll notice the toe portion of the shoe really swoops upward. And that's not at all what our feet look like. So we want ideally to have footwear that mimics the natural shape of our foot as much as possible. The other thing to be aware of is, if you're chemically sensitive, these do have a bit of an odor when I first bought them, a kind of a chemically plasticky smell to them. It has dissipated quite nicely over the 2 or 3 days that I have had them airing out. But just something to be aware of. If you did purchase them and you are chemically sensitive, you'd probably want to leave them outside or in your garage for 2 or 3 days to air out. The last thing for you to be aware of is the calf size. My calves are about 14.5 inches in circumference, and I had about an extra ½ inch of room when I wear these boots. So I had plenty of room to tuck in my pants comfortably, and I still feel fine wearing them. However, if you have wider calves, that may be a deal breaker for you, and something certainly for you to consider as you decide whether or not to purchase these. However, overall, I'm really pleased with these, and I think they'll come in quite handy for me in rainy weather and the slushy snow that we get here. Enjoy!